Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Alex. I'm a real estate investor, and I want to make these videos to share with you guys the things I'm learning, the challenges I'm having, the struggles I'm overcoming. So hopefully you guys can use this information to accelerate your own journey. So today, I just wanted to make a really quick video about how I personally use the CRM in REI Reply. I know there's a billion features in REI Reply, and it can kind of be confusing and overwhelming. So I just wanted to give you guys just an example of how I use this to basically manage leads. So I am absolutely no expert in this CRM, like I mentioned, but why make this video? I wanted to just kind of give you guys a super easy example, like a follow along thing of just something that works, just where you don't have to really overwhelm yourself. All these other additional tools are freaking awesome, and you could probably implement them and use them to make more money. But if you're literally just starting off, super overwhelmed, super confused, this is a great place to start. So here's your dashboard. This isn't really your CRM, but there is some other cool stuff on here that you're gonna want to pay attention to. You've got your tasks and everything there, and your manual actions. Let's go over to the opportunities. So this is just the way I like to have it set up. So you have your pipeline here, and then you have different lead stages. So you can have your new leads come in, and then from there, after you talk to them, you would basically move them into one of these buckets and move them, hopefully closer and closer down the line to eventually closed. These are just the ones I like, right? So for example, you can have a not interested, you can have a replied bucket, which for me, this is I have everything that anyone ever texts back, they just automatically get a tag that gets replied. And then from there, also you can have these other buckets here. Like for example, I have the 6 month follow-up bucket, a 3 month follow-up bucket, a monthly follow-up bucket, a warm, and a hot bucket. So the cool thing is with REI Reply is that you can set up the automations. Like I can show you in a minute. For example, when I put somebody in this 6 month bucket, it will automatically add them to a drip campaign that will shoot them a text message once every 6 months. And on top of that, you can also have it auto create you a task to call them and check in or drop a voicemail or something along those lines too. So that is super cool. So when a new lead comes in, you come in here, you can actually set it up to set you a task when it is in the new lead stage. And then from there, you call them, you get the situation, whatever, and then you drop them in one of these buckets. Let's say you drop them in they're not ready yet, but this is like a monthly follow-up. So you drop them in this bucket, you're constantly keeping them warm, shooting them text messages, reminding them that you're alive, calling them. And then hopefully you can continue to push them down this funnel here and close them, right? So, and you can also have other buckets too, right? So I've got a wrong number bucket. I've got this is phone two, try again. So that means the first number was wrong, but I had two phone numbers for them. And some other stuff like that, and obviously your do not call bucket, that's good to keep track of that so you're not continuing to call those people. So those are the individual buckets I like to use, and that's the general lead flow of when a new lead comes in. You can also have multiple different pipelines here, right? So, for example, like this is just a leads pipeline. I also have a pipeline for cash buyers, and I also have a pipeline for people who might want to partner or invest with me. And then I also have one for realtors, and then also for tenant buyers, like for lease options and stuff like that, where you can do this exact same thing. So you move them down the pipeline as well with different automations. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys what some of these text drip campaigns might look like if you drop them into, for example, a 3 month follow-up bucket. I would also have an automation set up that adds them to this 3 month follow-up drip campaign. So this is essentially just going to shoot them a text once every 3 months. Here's the text that I use. There's nothing magic or special about these, but you want to keep a couple things in mind here when you're doing a drip campaign for text messages. Most of the time, you want to end it with a question. Those are going to have higher response rates. Second thing is I like to personally try to keep them short as possible. I definitely am not trying to send like a wall of text to somebody that to me that feels like weird and spammy. So I don't like to do that. And then also the third thing is you need to really keep in mind what words you're using in your text. So you cannot use any promotional words like buy or sell or fast or cash offer. Nothing like that. So you have to kind of get a little bit creative with your word usage sometimes. So we can look at these. The first one, hey, this is just kind of remind them that I'm alive. But after that, always looking to pick up more properties. You know, basically asking them if they know any, and I can give them a referral. Would that close? Would that change anything? You know, I cover closing costs. Just kind of ending it with a question. You know, all these questions, and then maybe at the end, you know, a good pull away too. Those are always super effective. So we probably aren't the best fit right now. Should I close this file? So those always have very high response rates as well. So right now I have all these set up in campaigns and triggers, which I think are no longer maintained. But you can do the exact same thing in a workflow, which I think is where they want you to do it now. But super easy. You know, all you do is create workflow, and then, you know, start from scratch, and then you can say add new trigger, and then you can just say the workflow trigger. Like, let's say you have a lead, and then on the lead you tag 3-month follow-up, and then from there you can go in and add the actions to add them to send these text messages once every 90 days or so, and then move them to this follow-up bucket, that sort of thing. So pretty simple. So that is essentially how I use the CRM and REI Reply. I don't really overthink it. It's pretty simple. You just take the leads and move them into the bucket that you want. You can set up automations, like for example, like a hot lead or something like that. I would have it automatically create me a new task every single day to call them, so I stay on top of that. But other than that, the beauty of REI Reply kind of is in the automations and the text messaging. So I try to utilize that. And in terms of the CRM, just don't really overthink it. Just you get your pipeline, you get your buckets, and then you put your leads in whatever bucket that you deem they fit best. The biggest tips I would have for you guys is just be super diligent about updating the leads, essentially. So at the end of every call, make sure to just take that 2 minutes and update the notes. And if you're manually setting a task, you know, make sure to always do that. Have a follow-up date, have a plan, make sure they're in the right bucket, you know, because you don't want any leads to fall through the crack, and that can't happen if you're not super diligent. So hopefully you guys took something from this video and learned something about how you can operate your CRM and REI Reply, and let me know what you guys took away and what you want to see on the next one.